Hey guys, what's going on? Anthony here with Pistons Talk. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to an article over at fansided.com talking about a free agent that the Detroit Pistons were linked to a couple of weeks ago. We've mentioned it a couple of times that the Pistons are looking to add a quote unquote stretch five, a stretch big. This free agency, they have a lot of interesting guys like a Miles Turner, Naz Reid, as of late, Asante Aldama. This video is more focused on Naz Reid, one of your guys' favorite targets this summer in free agency. So let's go read this article and react to it. So this article is coming from Detroit Jock City of fansided.com. And it says Pistons rival coach throws cold water on Detroit's rumored free agent pursuit. So this definitely piqued my interest. I was like, what coach said that their player that's a free agent isn't going to be available? And as I scroll down and read it, right here it says Chris Finch throws cold water on Detroit's pursuit of Naz Reid. So Naz Reid was one of the players that the Pistons were rumored to be targeting from Mark Stein and Jake Fisher. And the article states Minnesota Timberwolves big man Naz Reid has been mentioned as a potential target of the Pistons for quite some time, while Detroit has solid big men already on the roster, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart. Neither is much of a threat to step away from the paint and face up against their defender and knock down a perimeter jumper. I feel like people forget, and I know the 14-win season is not a good example, but Isaiah Stewart was letting that shit fly. You guys, I think that's something that we talked about this season, I should say, is like, why isn't Isaiah Stewart shooting more threes? He kind of did it towards the end of the season, but he played a lot in the painted area. I just want to say, like, Isaiah Stewart can shoot threes. It might not be at the volume as like a Naz Reid, for example, but still can shoot. I just want to say that. But like what he said is, I guess, a fair assessment for Duren. I don't think it's a fair assessment for Isaiah Stewart. They go on to say, even though he won't be the one ultimately cutting checks this summer, Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch was asked about Reid's future with the franchise, and he left no doubt whether he expects Reid to remain in Minnesota moving forward, per reporter of The Athletic. And he expects Julius Randle and Naz Reid to be on the team next season. I mean, what is a coach supposed to say, right? Like, no, they're leaving. Like, it's bad PR. You're not going to say they're not going to leave. It says these comments from Finch suggest Minnesota is well aware of the interest Reid will have across the league and plans to do what they can from a financial perspective to make him stay in the Twin Cities. In the end, though, it's a decision that lies solely on the shoulders of Reid. We have seen free agents elect to take less money to head to a destination that would be more conducive to their development and upside as a player before. If Reid feels the same way about the Pistons as their front office does about him, we could see a similar scenario play out this summer. Okay, so there is a lot to dissect here and a lot to talk about. I have three main takeaways after reading this article. The first thing is the Chris Finch element, being on a show, being interviewed, being asked about players that are on player options, if they are going to come back or not. That's the first thing. The second thing is the player option itself with Naz Reid. And the third thing is Naz Reid taking less to come to Detroit and the possibilities of that. And I have one final thing that I'll discuss after I'm done discussing my three main takeaways from this article. So let's start with Chris Finch. So he's on a radio show. He was asked about Naz Reid and his player option. And he said, I expect him to be back. Most coaches in the NBA are going to say that. They're going to say, yeah, I expect my guy back. We just made it to the Western Conference Finals. I expect him to be back and compete with Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert and us next season. That's the first thing. Chris Finch is a very smart coach. He's not going to make it difficult for his front office to have negotiations with Naz Reid this free agency. That's the first main takeaway I took after reading this article. The second thing I had a takeaway with is the player option conversation. Now, Naz, I think we can agree. If he opts out, he's going to have a lot of suitors. And I think the market for him could be anywhere from 20 to 26, 27 million per year for his services. He's a very good basketball player. Can score at all three levels. I think defensively, I think you want a little bit more with him, but he's not a traffic going out there. That's the second thing. And the third thing is I disagree with Naz Reid taking less to come here. Okay. Now, they cited that, free agents in the past have taken less. If the fit is better with the team that they're looking at to sign with, I think Naz wants to get paid, you guys. I don't think he's going to take less than market value for his services. Why would he? Very rarely do you see a player take less than what they could get in the open market. Now, if you want to use an example of, Malik signed for 1 year, $6 million. We really don't know what Malik's market is. We actually have people coming out and saying what they think Naz Reid's market is: 20 to 27 million per year. Naz isn't going to sign with Detroit for 12 million a year. He's just not. That'd be stupid. And his agent would probably have his head, right? So those are the three main takeaways. And I mentioned after the three takeaways, there was another element to this, and it's ownership with Minnesota. They just changed ownerships. Alex Rodriguez and his team finally have ownership of the Minnesota Timberwolves. I feel like it's been 10 years as they've been going back and forth with the previous owner and his ownership group. They now own Minnesota. And why does that matter? Why does that matter for the Detroit Pistons trying to pursue a Naz Reid, this free agency? It matters because you see it all the time in the NBA. When new owners come in, Matt Ishbia is a prime example. They decide to get rid of players that they feel that aren't good enough. They just fire everybody and just bring in their guys. They want to it's owner syndrome. You see it all the time. Tom Gores did it when he first got here too. I mean, he fired Joe D, got rid of, all previous people a part of the Pistons organization that were here for all three championships. Like, he got rid of everybody. And he's slowly kind of bringing them back now. There are certain people in the front office that we don't even talk about and you guys don't even know about. But I'm not going to kind of go down that rabbit hole and go into details with that. But why that matters and how it relates to the Detroit Pistons and Naz Reid is, does Alex Rodriguez and Minnesota value him more than what his player option currently is, which is around 14 to 15 million? Do they value Naz Reid in the 20, 25, or maybe even $27 million range for his services? And I'll just give you guys my straight opinion. I don't think so. I don't think they do. And you have to look at their cap space. You have to look at their salary cap and their books. You have Rudy Gobert, who's on a monstrous contract, who has been floated around in trade rumors for Kevin Durant. You have Anthony Edwards, who is their franchise player, who they want to build around. You have Jaden McDaniels, who is a very good defender and a very promising young player that they paid. Naz Reid, I don't think they really want to pay him that price that he's probably going to get and seek. I don't think they want to pay him $20, $25 million. Now, can the Pistons, afford that? They can. They can get to that price point. There's a lot of maneuvering you have to do to get to that price point. But I would take Chris Finch's comments with a grain of salt. I don't really think they mean anything, just because he wants to make sure that his front office has a good, solid relationship with one of their better players off the bench in Naz Reid. When negotiations start with him getting a new contract, he wants to make sure that those conversations go smoothly. If he would have went on their radio show and said, "Yeah, I have no idea if he's coming back," that could be a little bit of hiccups in terms of conversations. But that's just my overall thoughts and opinions. After reading this article, I still think Naz Reid is definitely an interest from the Pistons' perspective, as well as Santi Aldama. Don't think Miles Turner's an option anymore. But I think those two are definitely realistic options for the Detroit Pistons. Naz is a little bit more difficult in terms of, moving pieces around and, making the money work. But I just kind of wanted to react to you guys my thoughts and Chris Finch's comments. I know one of you guys had reached out and said, "Hey, like, did you see this? Can you react to it?" I don't really know how to feel. That's just kind of my overall thoughts on it. Just wanted to talk to you guys for a couple of minutes about it. But let me know what you guys think of these comments from Chris Finch, and would you want to go after our Naz Reid still after these reports of him asking for 20, 25 million, maybe more a year for his services? I'll talk to you guys down below in the comment section. Like always, hope you guys are staying safe. Take care. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.